Thank you, Karen. I've been crying the whole weekend. You know, this group, I just have to say that I have never been in a conference, and I've gone to conferences all through the last 20 years of my clinical social work career, and I've never been so sore back here, you know, just from, yeah, and I also want to apologize because, thank you, Karen, for the kind words about my book, but I'm realizing now that I didn't write this book. You guys wrote this book. For 3 days I've been listening to, and I don't know, how many people have read my book? Nobody. But you're in, oh wait, yes, Rosina has read my book. But you're in there. I goes, my God, I goes, these people are talking what I talk about. These people are my blood, my family. And I'll tell you a little family story also. But first of all, I want to let you know that I am a recovering adolescent. I've been an adolescent all my life. I started working with teens when I was 19 years old. I came out of college, out of a math department that said, hey, you want to be a teacher? You go teach. But I'm 19. Go do it anyway. So I went to my old high school and I taught a pre-calculus class to kids 2 years younger than me. And I went away with that experience just like scratching my head. I couldn't believe it. So I went back, completed the degree, and started teaching. Well, like Tammy was saying, the teaching got in the way of the connection. And I struggled with the structure that I was kind of mandated to formulate. And I'd had kids, I taught general math to calculus. And these poor kids, and I didn't know this at the time because I hadn't studied psychological stuff. I had kids that could not, in 9th grade, memorize multiplication tables. They could not do 12 by 12. I had no clue why. Now I know why. They had a mathematical learning disability. And we have teachers for that now. We didn't know that in 1973. We know it now. For 10 years, we've talked about bullying, and we talked about how kids can be mean to each other. And I remember, I think it was Diane who said her 14-year-old son looked at her and said, not all teenagers are broken. I worked for 10 years with juvenile sex offenders. Talk about a tough audience. These kids are broken. They are broken into. And of course, it's long-term work with these kids. And much of it is done in group work because teens love groups. So we would help the kids develop a sense of integrity because they had never been shown integrity. I help kids develop communication skills. I help kids develop social skills. These kids come out of brutal situations, and in response to these brutal situations, they brutalized other kids. The issue wasn't sex. The issue was power. So we had to give those kids an idea that they were powerful without having power over someone else. You can only do that work for so long. And of course, I had to stop. And I went into a private practice after I got my license in 1991. And was fat and happy in a private practice, running 30 people through my office every week, getting paid by the insurance company, chasing money all over the place because, you know, insurance companies will deny claims systematically. And if you have ADD like me, it was really hard to follow up on this stuff. So I lost thousands of dollars just trying to get paid. In 1988, while getting ready to accept a full-time job at this organization of teaching, of working with juvenile sex offenders as a treatment coordinator, I got a call from my mother. This is the morning of my first day. She's hysterical. She says, "Ray, your niece called me." Now, my niece is an adopted niece, and my older brother adopted. He has since had another child and yet another child. She told my mother that my brother had severely sexually abused them for years. And me, being the new social worker, said, "We have to talk about this." The minute I said those words, my brother had not only molested my niece, who was adopted, but molested my natural-born niece also, who last word was that she was stripping somewhere in Texas. So he broke all of his children also. I says, "We need to talk about this." So it went, in the conversation, it went with my mother saying both children got molested. Oh, no, it was only Wendy. She got molested. Didn't happen to the other one. Oh, it didn't happen to either girl. It never happened. This is in a span of 5 minutes. The denial closed the door shut. And I said to myself, this explains a lot about my life. So, being the good social worker that I was, with a heart of gold, I immediately started a letter writing campaign. I got on the phone. We're going to take care of this. We're going to get together. First of all, I reported my brother to the local police, who knew my brother. Oh yeah, we know John Erickson. Yeah, we were just over his apartment for a domestic violence kind of thing. We went kind of crazy. Oh, okay, that's normal. So anyway, I started with that route. At one point, my dad, this is the last words my father ever said to me. "If you say anything else about this molest crap, I'll have nothing to do with you forever." He left that on my answering machine. Yeah, so, and he always was a man of his word. So he never did say another word to me. And the reason I did that is because I wasn't going to let myself be bullied. For Christmas, and I didn't live there. They lived in Michigan, I lived in California. I sent them wonderful books like Courage to Heal, books like Codependent No More. These are wonderful books, educational. I forget the titles now because it's been 20-some years, but I sent each one of my brothers and mother and dad a book, and that was it. He never said another word for me. And I started, okay, I'll work my mom. So I worked my mom, wrote her letters. "Mom, we got to do this. This is what I know about this. Da, 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 da." Well, eventually, I get a letter from my mother who said, "You're killing your father with these letters. And besides, you weren't always as good as you thought you were." So that really started the next 10 years I was in psychotherapy for just, looking into myself, finding things that I had never known about myself. Through meditation, I became a wellness advocate. I meditate. I don't look like it, but I try to stay active and exercise. but I realized I really had to take care of myself if I was going to take care of these kids that I'm working with. And one of the things I did with these JSOs, and some of them were awful, awful, awful people. But the vast majority of them were kids. And they've been broken through no fault of their own. Now, that didn't get them off the hook. They're still responsible for everything they did. And we use strong cognitive behavioral techniques. We use a lot of behavioral techniques. The rubber band, for bad thoughts, sexual thoughts, deviant thoughts. So we taught them how to reframe the way they thought. And we use group peer pressure. We use group dynamics to help reinforce all of those tools. And of course, at one point in time, they had to be released. They had to go out into the community. And they age out. Most of these kids ended up in foster care in specialized treatment homes. So they aged out, and they're going in. Who knows what's happening? The stats are not really good when it comes to treatment and sex offenders. It's sad to say, because I really loved a lot of these kids. And the reason I could do that, because I found that spot. I found that spot in them that was real, that was genuine, that was loving, that was kind. That never got to grow. So I spent 10 years of my doing life. Of course, you can't do that forever. So I left that quite a while ago, and I thought it would be a kind of a good thing to kind of bring up, since the original story I had I just threw out. I goes, that's nonsense. I want to get real with you guys. So what I do know, I'm one of those wannabes. I like to talk, and I have a lot of things to say about families. And I think I know how to help families help themselves. So I'm coming here, and I'm looking at all you wonderful, wonderful, talented, gifted speakers. And I'm sitting here, golly, I want to do that. So here I am. I'm doing a practice run with everybody. And what I want to do is give my love to not just the teenagers sitting across from me in the chair, and not just to their parents who are torn and confused and afraid. I want to give my love to hundreds of families, thousands of families. That's why I wrote the book, because I just had too much love in me to not share. Thank you.